Okay, good morning, everyone, and welcome to our final Administration and Finance Committee meeting of the year on December 3rd, 2024. I'll call on Rianne Kassar, Committee Clerk, to conduct the roll call. Rianne.
Thank you. Regional Chair Redmond.
Present.
Councillor Craig.
Present.
Councillor Deutschmann. Councillor Erb.
Here.
Councillor Foxton.
Present.
Chair Harris.
Present.
Councillor Hunick.
She is on her way up.
Councillor James.
Present.
Councillor Liggett. Councillor McCabe. Present. Councillor Nowak. Councillor Salonen. Councillor Shantz.
Present.
Councillor Williams. Councillor Wolf.
Present.
And regrets from Councillor Verbanovic.
I would like to acknowledge that the land on which we gathered today is the traditional territory of the Haudenosaunee, Anishinaabe, and Chinantan peoples. We acknowledge the enduring presence of the Indigenous people with whom we share this land today, their achievements, and their contributions to our community. Are there any declarations of pecuniary interest? Seeing none, we will now have a motion to reconvene into open session, moved by Councillor Fox and seconded by Councillor Erb. Please use your e-scribe. Okay, that is carried. Thank you, everyone. There are no presentations. There are no delegations. Colleagues, if you wish to remove an item from the consent agenda item, please indicate so now. Seeing none, do we have a mover and a seconder for the consent? Councillor James, seconded by Councillor Wolf. We feel the same way sometimes. I believe that is carried. No items under the regular agenda. The council committee tracking list is being received for information. We do have other business. Councillor Deutschmann, notice of motion, provided a motion that was referred to the committee from the Strategic Plan and Budget Committee, which is listed on today's agenda. We will need a seconder for that motion, please. Is anybody? Councillor McCabe. I'll call on Councillor Deutschmann to speak to his motion.
Thank you, Chair Harris. The motion is very straightforward. Under the Community Safety and Policing Act, Council is entitled under Section 50 sub 4 to establish the budget for policing. We received the estimate, which we have received from the board. We take a look at that estimate, and then we can decide as a council whether we wish to approve that or approve some other number. And that's what this motion basically is doing, is just simply stating we're asking that $4 million be removed from that number. And given the fact that we are going through an extensive consultation, a review through not only capital projects, but operation funding as well for various service programs, et cetera. And we recently released last Friday to the community an extensive list of items which were significant potential cuts to significant programs in our community. And, you know, this is not a situation of either or. There's one taxpayer, there's one budget, and policing is part of our one budget. And whatever we do in one area implicates what we do or impacts what we do in another area. And given that we as a council have spent many hours reviewing a number of issues and trying to find savings in a number of areas, we're asking that the board do the same with respect to their budget. And I think it's a fair amount given the overall budget that we're asking them to consider. Now, police can take a look at it. They're not bound by what we're sending to them. They have options. But one of the options is that they could take a look at their own budget again and come back to us with a counter proposal. And we can consider that. And this is giving them enough time prior to December 11th to do that. So I hope council will support this. In light of everything that we're doing, we need all hands on deck to assist us to reduce our reduce the tax rate, the tax levy that we're imposing on the people of our region. The taxpayers are speaking to us loud and clear that they need relief, and we need to find relief in all areas, including this area. Thank you very much.
Okay, I do have a speakers list for the motion. She doesn't have e-scribe, so sorry about that, folks. Chantel, are you ready to speak to this? Yes. Go ahead, Chantel. Councillor Hunig.
Thank you. Colleagues, I think we need to support this. If the police take us to the province because of this motion and try to fight it in court, I think we can stand up behind the fact that we're experiencing financial troubles in all areas of the budget, and that if the province wants us to fund this amount of money, then they can help us pay the bill, and that would be great.
Councillor Foxton.
Thank you, and through you, Chair. I supported the original concept of them cutting $4 million, and then I thought I'd reach out to them. And in doing so, I found out they decreased by $6.3 million. They removed $1 million in a full-time facility or position, $1 million reduction in deferrals of operating technology investments, $1 million reduction through increase of the wage gapping target, $380,000 in a decrease in firearms, investigative, and training expenses, $780,000 decrease to reserve contributions, $1.3 million in reductions were found in the capital budget, which included $1 million reduction through deferral of the purchase of emergency response command vehicle, $100,000 in reduction through deferral equipment purchases, $100,000 in reduction through the deferral of capital technology investments. I'd like to thank them for finding the $6.3 million, and I do not see that they need to do a further $4 million. Understanding, and if I may ask Wayne, when the police budget has a 1% tax increase, that's not equivalent to $1 million increase to our budget, 1% increase to our budget, is it? It's not 1-to-1, is it?
Through the chair, no. Like a 1% tax limit increase for our budget, the region budget, is $5.3 million.
And how much is the police at a 1% in their budget?
Well, it would be, I'd have to look up the exact number, but it would be like a small fraction of that.
So a small fraction?
Yeah.
So, I mean, 1% of a police budget could be 0.03%.
I can double check, but that's probably close.
Thank you.
Councillor Wolf.
Through you, Mr. Chair. I also received the list of the reductions the police had already made. I would like to make an amendment to this motion and basically take out the by $4 million and of no more than $248,468,301, and make it so that we're basically asking them to say, take a second look at their budget, just the way we are taking a second look, not prescribing that it's got to be $4 million, and that was originally sort of tied to new hires. So I would just like to leave it more open, the way we have it sort of more open, that we're taking a second look. I appreciate the cuts they've already made, and if they look at it and can't make any more, fine. If they look at it and they can find something for $2 million or $4 million, fine. But I would like, if we took out the actual numbers, $4 million and $248 million, et cetera, I think they would look at this more favorably, both the Police Service Board and the police. And I think rather than just looking at it as more of a hostile motion, I think we're all just trying to get our budget down, and by leaving it more open, I'm hoping we'll get better results. So the amendment would be to remove the numbers, and I would look for a seconder to that amendment.
Do we have a seconder? Did I see it seconded? Okay, Councillor McCabe seconded it. So discussion, colleagues, on the amendment. Any further discussion on the amendment? So we'll put that up and you can vote on the amendment, colleagues. Well, they'll pop it up, but basically we're gonna get rid of the 4 million and no more than 248 million. Just get rid of the. There we go. So I'll read it out that the Regional Municipality of Waterloo requests that the Waterloo Regional Police Service Board further deliberate on the Waterloo Region Police Service 2025 operating budget estimate to reduce the net levy impact for Regional Council's approval. Okay. Okay, colleagues, that motion was.
I can't
was
vote.
defeated.
It's not
We'll go
letting
back
me
to the
vote.
original speakers list. I think I saw. Oh, Councillor Liggett, do you want to pop your vote in there, please?
Yeah. Done.
That was defeated. We've got Councillor Craig.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chair, and I appreciate Councillor Foxton taking my speech away from me with regards to all the cuts to the police budget. The police budget is sitting at 8.4%. The regional budget's at 10.4%. So really what we're doing is we're deflecting to try to away from what the real issue is, and that's the regional budget. And if we look at the regional budget at 10.4, and we look at all the add-ons that are coming in terms of the different delegations that are coming to talk to us, we're going to be up around 11%. And that's the reality. And so I think we have to start looking at what the reality is going to be next week. I'm not happy about the way we've handcuffed ourselves with the procedural bylaw with regards to notices of motion a week and a half in advance. I think that really curtails us to some extent, and 48 hours would be enough. But my concern is when we look at this, we need to try to find a path forward. And we're not in a very good shape. And I think this is just a side thing with regards to the police budget. It's just deflecting. And I think we have to look at next week and where we're going to end up. There's an old political adage that if you don't know what to do, and I don't think we do know what we're doing with regards to how to proceed in a constructive way with reducing the budget, you refer it back to council. If you really, really don't know what to do, you refer it back to staff. And I think we're looking at that again down the road. And I think also, if I may suggest, we should be looking at deferring the budget till early January to have a full, more comprehensive view of where this is ending up. Because it's not good, folks. I'm not supporting anything near 10 or 11%. And I think most of us are sitting around here very uncomfortable and not sure of what we should be doing. So I'm suggesting that we should be looking at, again, going back to staff, again, looking at deferring the budget to have more time. And I think the police budget sits where it does, and they've done, I think, an excellent job in reducing their budget. And by reducing their budget, they're pulling our budget down about 0.5 percentage point, so which is helpful. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Councillor Shantz.
Thank you. I think Councillor Foxton and Craig have covered most of my points, but I do want to say that the police board has gone back and had a second and a third look at the budget. That's how we reduced it to where we are. And my understanding is that our budget at the region is around 11% right now where we're sitting, and I think the police budget at 8.4 brings it down under 10. So with the police bringing in an 8.4%, we're actually reducing the total percentage increase of the regional budget. So I think it's important for you to understand that we've spent time and looked at it and sent staff back to look at it. So the very same process that we're going through here, all the difficult decisions, we went through at the board.
Thank you. Councillor Salonen.
Thank you, through you, Chair. Much like many of my colleagues around the Horseshoe who have been mentioning they've gone back and further understood what police have done, I met with Chief yesterday along with David Mullick and appreciate their time. I will be honest, when this motion first came forward, I wasn't fully aware of all of the work and the amount of times the budget had gone back at on the police side. Further, I also look across the province and look at the OPP increases. Granted, the province did step in, and maybe, just maybe, we can hope enough and advocate enough that they step up for those with regional police services as well. But I think our police already came in with quite a reasonable plan for 2025 that still makes us competitive with our adjoining areas around us with either OPP services or their own regional services. I also think too, we do really need to be looking at our budget as not pushing it off to someone else's problem to reduce our levy. We seriously need to, around this Horseshoe, stop even just deferring our motions that we have and deferring decisions. We need to actually bring down our budget because, frankly, the police budget, even if we brought it down to 2 or 3%, is still not really attacking the regional budget itself, which is mainly in our hands. So I won't be supporting this motion, although in essence I do support asking others to go back and look at their budgets. I think we've already done that with the police and they've already done their work.
Thank you, Chair Redmond.
Thank you, Chair Harris. I guess I would just like to echo some of the comments Councillor Salonen said, because that was really where my mind was going in saying that the police board did make tough decisions, and this council needs to make tough decisions. And there will be awkward conversations and there will be competing needs, but we need to get on with the decision making at this table. But I sit at the Waterloo Regional Police Services Board, and I will not support this motion because we have had those tough decisions and made those hard choices at the police board.
Councillor James.
Thank you, through you, Chair Harris. A little bit taken aback by the comments earlier that stated, maybe we don't know what we're doing, because that doesn't progress the conversation where it needs to go. Also, I'm thinking about the first two budget meetings we had where, it is our duty to kind of make decisions and do things, and we kept deferring, and now we're in a situation where there doesn't appear to be much time, and now to suggest, well, we defer it. Well, we had 2 full days and additional days to discuss the budget, and it was, I don't know if all of the reading, all of the information, that wasn't done, but I don't think that's a fair ask right now, because we had the opportunity before, and as a council, there was discussions to defer things to, the latter part of this process. With regards to the police budget in this motion, Councillor Deutschman, I'm always of the mindset that we can ask and do our due diligence and make sure that as elected officials, we're doing what we need to ensure we get this budget down. I also know that we're working in a system that isn't designed to change. So, I will support this motion. But I understand as well that the principle of this and the system that we're operating in is not designed for change to happen. And it's actually, for us to have our hands tied, essentially, when it comes to how the process is with this. Not so much the numbers, but it's the process with the systems that we're working in. So, that's all I have to say. But we should not be deferring this budget process because a few of us did not want to make decisions early on.
Okay, Councillor.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I think Councillor Foxton and a couple other of council members are all on the same email distribution list, and so thanks for sharing that information that some of the rest of us had. I have full confidence in the administration of the police services and my colleagues on council who sit on the Police Service Board and assume that in good conscience they have looked at this budget and made the decisions and reductions that they think is necessary that's reasonable to keep our community safe. And so while it would be wonderful for them to come back and say we can reduce X number of dollars, I think I want to support the work that they have done, administration and my colleagues around this table, and so I'm not going to support that motion.
Councillor McCabe.
Thank you. Through you, Chair. I'm not going to speak directly to the motion, but just to the Police Service Board, our colleagues around the table. And just for the upcoming, I'm thinking ahead to the future, just for upcoming conversations around that table and that you're going to have with other EMS services and local municipalities, one of the big costs I see on the horizons is the communications center, and I've seen some significant cost escalations in that. So I think that if we're looking for ways to try to eventually, reduce some costs, that's something that we all need to really keep our eyes on, because the cost escalation in that and what I've seen has been incredible, I think is a fair word to say. And so I would ask my colleagues on the Police Service Board and those and the others on the Police Service Board to really, as that process moves forward, to really take a hard look at that and see where we can reduce costs from before it gets to this point. Thank you.
Councillor Hunick.
Thank you, Chair. I think we need to remember that 99% of police services are legislated. And so the issue is not whether they do or don't need the money. I'm quite sure that they do. The issue for me is that we can't afford it any more than we can afford $2 million in perpetuity to the food bank, who also needs money. And so if the province has kicked money into OPP budgets around the province, they should, in good faith, kick money into this one as well. And so again, reiterating, it's not whether they do or don't need the funds, it's the responsibility of who has to pay for it and why.
Okay, Councillor Deutschmann.
Thank you, Chair Harris. I wasn't going to get into specifics because every time one mentions specifics, we get accused of delving into an area that we're not responsible for with respect to you can't tell them to do this, you can't tell them to do that. But then I hear about a laundry list of changes that they've made. And I appreciate the OPP reference as well, because I did see that information as well in the news. However, we don't know what those communities did in prior years. And over the past 6 years, we have added 120 officers and 60 civilian, and have had continual significant increases in our police budget. This regional council has supported police significantly since 2019. In the period from 2013 to 2018, they only added 1 officer during that whole period of time. So we have done a significant amount of work with respect to supporting our police. Have they done enough? Well, I don't have faith when we are kept from receiving information about their current HR. They deliberately stopped publishing the quarterly personnel information, not only in the report, but also in their financial variance report. So how can we have faith that when Chief Crow tells us, as he did last year, that they were going to have their full complement hired, and yet they did not? In fact, they were short by 28, and we added 18 more. They started the year 46 short, and now we're being told that they will have the full complement, but not given the full information. So you can't say that you have faith when you are purposely denied information. There's a lack of transparency on this issue, and why? Chief Crowell said it when he was here, because he believes that information is being used to mischaracterize their situation. He accused me of arguing one point in time when I pointed out he in fact had more. He says that the 16 civilians, which they have more than they are authorized to have currently, 16 civilians, and he's asking for 10 more. The 16 civilians, he says, are because of maternity leave. I don't even understand what that answer is. It's not a coherent answer. Does that mean when the people come back from maternity leave, these 16 are gone? No. So they're asking not only for 18 more officers and 10 more civilian, they're already over their complement by 16. And so this regional council is going to approve giving them 10 more when they're already 16 over. Where is the oversight? You can't tell me there's oversight. There is not oversight. And it's unfortunate that we have a government relations staffing that works on government relations, which is working on the region. That's what the government relations is all about. And that's what we're subject to. So I don't have faith in the in the system. There's more that they could easily do. They could defer all sorts of things. They have reserves. They have other things they can do. They haven't done enough. I hope you'll support this motion. Thank you.
Okay, we are on our second round, so I'll ask those to be brief, and then we will vote on this matter as we want to continue with our agenda today. So, Councillor Craig.
Well, Mr. Chair, I know one thing, as a representative of Cambridge, the people in Cambridge want good policing on the ground, and any kind of motion or movement towards taking monies out of the police budget has been suggested will in fact impact the hiring of new officers in the coming year. With regards to the OPP, that's a completely different story. And that gets into bargaining, it gets into arbitration, it gets into all the areas we can't delve into, and nor can we have any controls over. With regards to reporting, and my good friend across the way has mentioned on many occasions of his concerns about the reporting that's been coming out. And his motion, and I didn't do this out of fairness, when he talked about all the different aspects in his motion, there were a number of things in there that were quite incorrect when I checked with regional police about the accuracy. So I think what we're doing is we're moving forward here, and I think we need to get back to our budget and what we're going to do. And I think we have great difficulties ahead. And I think we need to move away from this whole issue about policing, reporting, and everything else. We've dealt with that over and over and over again. And I think we just simply have to move on.
Sounds good, Councillor Craig. I'll leave that to Councillor Johnston.
Thank you. Find my voice here. Excuse me. Yeah, I just want to I guess call out my counselor next to me here on his comments about the board. The Police Services Board is composed of community members who are upstanding citizens, who are professional, and who do an excellent job of asking the right questions and of managing the affairs of the police services. And so I think as he often comments about the fairness of comments that are made, I would say those comments were very unfair, uncalled for, and unprofessional.
Okay, colleagues.
Can I call a question?
Yeah, we're going to do that now, so we'll get that up on eScribe, colleagues. I know we've had a couple of opportunities to look at this, so I'll pull it up, and we'll see where we go. Okay, colleagues, that motion was defeated. The next meeting is scheduled for January the 14th, 2025. We'll now start a vote to adjourn the meeting, but I'll need a mover and a seconder. Councillor Craig, seconded by Councillor Foxton. So, just a sec. I will...
Flash up who votes. 2 seconds isn't quite long enough. I'd like to see who my friends are.
Okay, so we'll ask we'll ask clerk staff to see. Is there a way we can hold that vote? Is there a way they can pull that up in the future so it's up? Okay. Yeah. All right. So we have already engaged in a motion to adjourn. So we'll vote on that. We'll make sure we post the outcome of this and leave it up for a bit so people can see. I'm just going to take a wild guess that that's going to pass. So we'll allow the clerk's staff to take some time to get set up for our next meeting, and that'll be Councillor Erb, I believe, is next. Chair Erb. Councillor Johnson, Councillor Erb, if you don't mind.